and we got a lot of awesome stuff going on, and getting ready for
Mm-hmm.
some outdoor concerts.
Heck yeah. Hey, Marco, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty sweet. How about you?
I'm doing good. The weather has decided to take a turn. Wearing my jacket, not loving that, but I'm doing good. I'm hanging and banging here down here in Austin, Texas, and got some fun songs to talk about today. So I'm pretty hyped.
All right, let's keep the hype going.
Let's.
All right, we'll get right into the heavy radio news. The band
Woo!
Saint Vitus will be releasing their ninth studio album titled Saint Vitus, and this is going to be out on May 17th. So keep on the lookout for that.
Awesome. Um, kind of tying into that as far as new releases are going, I have a kind of couple news stories. Um, Little ones. Recently, Dave Mustaine was quoted as saying that he was listening to the first couple records, and he was talking about how the old days sounded so inspired, and he's kind of looking back at that stuff, and that also. A couple days ago, David Ellefson was talking about the new record, saying that it's going to be heavy, which is, I know, you and I's favorite throughout the years when bands are saying, "What's the new record going to be like?" It's going to be heavy. So he knows that everyone says that because he's like, I know everyone says it's going to be heavy, but this one's going to be heavy. So I believe him. If anyone knows heavy, I would say it'd be him. So um, all that combined, I'm pretty excited about the new Megadeth record.
Yeah, I imagine at some point, if we're not there already, it could just be auto-generated news stories of bands saying their new record's going to be heavy.
This band says new record going to be heavy coming out. You have to. You have to at this point.
And then the curveball, this record's not going to be heavy.
Not heavy. Light
The
record.
We have some announced tour dates coming from the band Skullfist, and they'll be on tour uh, throughout the USA, but we kind of focus on our regions here. So they'll be coming through Chicago April 7th to Reggie's, April 8th, Kansas City, Missouri, the Riot Room, and the 10th, Oklahoma City, and then they'll be through Dallas, Austin, and Houston on the 11th, 12th, and 13th. They'll also be playing here
Awesome.
on my home front in Iowa on April 15th at Joysticks Rockade in Keokuk, Iowa. And in Texas, they'll be at the Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. And in Austin, they'll be at Come and Take It Live in Houston White Oak Music Hall. And you've been to any of those venues?
Yeah, come and take it is definitely, I'd say, the premier place I've found down here for metal. They have a lot of cool shows. They just had speaking of, on was it Friday, they had a all Lemmy Motorhead tribute night, and that was pretty awesome. So bands came and played a bunch of Motorhead songs, so they know what's up over there. So I will 100% go see these guys there because they're awesome to begin with. So it's gonna be fun. And that
Rad,
show
yeah.
in Iowa sounds awesome.
Yeah, Joysticks Rockade, so you get to see some Skullfist at the arcade, so that should be pretty awesome. And
Oh man.
the yeah, for Skullfist, the last time that I saw them on the road, they put on a fantastic show. So if they're coming through your neck of woods, definitely check that out.
Yeah, new record's great too so far. Let's see. Next one I had was from um, Metallica. The Metallica boys are, since it's the 20th anniversary of S&M when Metallica played with the San Francisco Symphony, they are going to do it again, do a tribute show, S&M 2. It's going to be at the grand opening at the Chase Center. So that's exciting. One is a Metallica fan, and two, just that um, for metal in general. Just that they're doing the city's doing such a big thing and having Metallica come play. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, as a Metallica fan, I'm hyped. I definitely remember the first S&M record coming out, and I was really like getting in, like really like, okay, this is the music I'm into. So I have a very close tie to that record, and I'm excited for the next part two.
Yeah, and I thought it was really impressive in terms. The first record was really impressive in terms of the production with the symphony and also the orchestration. How they really put into orchestration the songs and were
Mm-hmm.
really like a part of the performance instead of like here's the band and there's just kind of separate parts that they're trying to fill out, but it was really like the symphony was part of the band performing, and that was really awesome. I think is really one of the better examples of a time where a band played with a symphony that are currently recorded. So yeah,
Yeah.
if they can match any of that and incorporate different songs or maybe play some of those songs
Yeah,
that
new
were written
stuff.
for that time, yeah, all that should be really something really cool.
Speaking of their new songs from that record, the song No Leaf Clover, which was the main single from that, I definitely remember you and I riding in the back because we were kids. Your mom took us to Blockbuster Video, and we needed to go in, but we really wanted to hear the last heavy part of No Leaf Clover, where
Oh
they do the
yeah,
chug. And so we asked your mom if we could stay in the car, and we listened to it really loud. So
yeah. Well, that's
shout out to your mom.
an awesome thing about well, that probably doesn't happen to too many people so far, but anymore. But the old finding an actual good song on terrestrial radio, and then you're on the time of the radio station, so you
You have to
actually
go do another lap around the block.
take the time to do that. I remember when we were on terrestrial radio, some people would call in and say that one of our first
Scooping
callers, I think we were playing like Warriors of the World by Manowar, and they're like, yeah, I just kept driving around until that song ended. So that's
it.
definitely been a phenomenon. That's what happens when you have terrestrial radio.
You had to be there, kids. It was fun. And Blockbuster. We went into a Blockbuster right after that, so that's a twofer for you down memory
Yeah,
lane,
of
everybody.
things that are in the memory hole. The I guess there's maybe one Blockbuster left in the world. It sounds like.
I wonder how many copies of Pluto Nash they have on VHS cassette tape.
I think they have a lot of Pluto Nash, a lot of Face Off, a lot of Jerry
Yep.
Maguire. It seems like if the internet is any indication.
The Tao of Steve. Um, inside jokes. All right. What do you got? Do you have another news story? I have one
Yeah,
more.
it's actually another awesome tour that's been announced. This is the pairing of two bands that are really carrying the torch: Warbringer and Enforcer. Uh, two of the
Yeah.
two of the most happening bands going, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
right now, and that's awesome that they're hitting the road together, coming also through the USA. Um, in our region, our regions, they'll be hitting up Lee's Liquor Lounge in Minneapolis. That's on September 18th. Then the 19th, they'll be through the Lookout Lounge in Omaha, Nebraska. And then September 20th, right here in my hometown, Vaudeville Muse in Des Moines, Iowa. And we actually have a
Yes.
special addition to this show. Eric and I will be playing with our group Dark Mirror to support those guys when they come through Des Moines. So that was
Metal.
something when I first wrote this news story I didn't anticipate, but it's awesome how that has worked together.
I'm
The
very excited. Very excited.
Yeah, and so October 16th they'll be coming through Houston, Texas, the Scout Bar. October 17th, the Rock Box in San Antonio, and October 18th, that Come and Take It Live. right at you in Austin, Texas, and then the 19th they'll be at Trees. So it looks like they are really ending up in Dallas. So lots of opportunities to see that awesome duo of Warbringer and Enforcer.
Yeah, I just thought of when you were telling that story. I just thought of the fact that my rig is here, but I don't know what's back at home in Iowa. So I'm excited to see, because I'm pretty sure I have a couple axes back home. So it'll be fun to see what classic guitar comes out for this performance. So very excited to see those guys and to be on that stage.
Yeah, that's
y'all.
definitely an interesting aspect of playing over an extended period of time, is going back to an old guitar or an old rig, and if it's sounding great. So it's just cool to mix and match at that point.
You know me. I'll have something up my sleeve, I'm sure.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Last story I had, just kind of like a funny moment. Just if y'all been following Bruce Dickinson, then you'll definitely know follows his story. I guess he was in an interview recently promoting his book. What does this button do? And he was asked. Let's see find it right here. Basically, he was asked why he cut his hair, or why his hair is like long again, because he's growing it out if you've seen recent photos. And basically he was talking about when he first cut his hair, he was pissing everybody off because they're like, why'd you cut your hair? And he said he wanted to look younger, and everyone thought that was goofy that he cut his hair. And now he's growing out his hair, and everyone's like, why are you growing out your hair? And he said basically to piss off the old people who can't. So he's just doing it to bug people again. So I love that. It's very Bruce Dickinson, just carving his own path 24/7.
Yeah, he looks awesome, sounds awesome, and
does.
Can't go wrong with that.
Can't stop him.
Yeah, I read that book when it came out, and it really stood out to me, as there's a lot of people that have been in bands or related to the music industry that come out with these books, and his really stood out from the pack just because he's such a unique individual and has so many interesting aspects to his life, and also that he seems to have a really sharp recollection of the early days of his time in in different groups, Samson and then Maiden, and he just seems like just an interesting bloke to hear tell stories, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in that book, so I definitely think that a lot of people would be interested in that. And he does so much cool stuff, flying planes and in aviation, and he gets into a lot of that, and then gets into personal stuff like battling his cancer battle, and it's pretty much gotten to the point where as long as they feel good, they want to keep packing up Eddie and flying around the world. So that sounds pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely inspiration for heavy musicians all around. Just keep it rolling, grow your hair out, keep going.
Yeah, and the hard work that it takes to try to have that kind of voice hold up over a lifetime.
True that. Yeah. Luckily, I just had the guitar side to worry about.
Yeah. I think we'll get into this Heavy Radio 2's ripping tracks here.
Woo!
My first track is Girls School, and it's actually a special track from their discography. It's called I Spy, and it actually has Tony Iommi and Dio participating on this track, and it was it's just a really raucous track that kind of seems to allude to sort of the NSA and mass surveillance situation, and just that combination of Girls School, and you throw in a little Tony Iommi and Ronnie James Dio. I think it's just a track that maybe a lot of people might have missed, but it should not have been. So we're gonna keep blasting it loud.
Heck yeah, that's rad. My first pick is a band called Q5, Steal the Light. The song actually, in all honesty, just came on one of my Spotify playlists, and I thought it was pretty rad. Old school band. And actually, I asked Marco before we started recording this if he'd heard of them, so he looked them up, and it sounds like he said it was a Seattle band, right? That came from
Yeah,
two other smaller
apparently it's
bands.
like two bands that were popular in that region in the 70s, and then they came together in the 80s to put out this get this group together and put out a couple records spanning the 80s and more recently.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out there.
Awesome. The my second track is Demons and Wizards: Winter of Souls, and this is a pairing of Hansi Kirsch from Blind Guardian and John Schaefer from Iced Earth, and they've put out some amazing, a couple amazing records over the years, and they've recently announced that they're going to be working together again. So stoked for that. I remember the first time I heard this record, it was actually at a lunch break at school, and I just started listening to it, and it got me going, moved me so much that I just didn't go back and listen to the rest of the record. Finished it and repeated it, and it was just one of those records that really grabbed me when it came out. And Winter of Souls is one of the tracks that I felt was just very strong.
Heck yeah. No, I love all their stuff, so I'm excited to hear more jams. My next, if I can talk, my next one up is Warlock, Out of Control. So this is, it was originally fronted by Doro, correct?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, so this is one of their old tracks before she split off, and I've always known of Warlock. They've always been around in my, orbit, but I had never really actually sat and listened to some of their old records. And I know you had some of them back in the day for sure, but I sat and actually listened to this one, and man, it's a good song. It's just catchy, and her voice is ridiculous. Like, if you guys have never listened to Warlock or Doro, like, check it out. So, great track, and yeah, definitely go check it out.
Hell yeah. The next track that I have is Blasting Down the Walls, Motorhead, Built for Speed. And to me, this is just one of those songs that just is built for Lemmy, really. It was on the album Orgasmatron, which came out in 1986. And it's really just a ripping track, and you'll hear why if you haven't listened to it recently. And I really think this was just a strong point in the Motorhead discography, a real high note, and yeah, it's got a number of burning tracks, but Built for Speed is the one we're rocking out today.
Heck yeah. My next one up is Megadeth, New World Order. This is one that's always floated around as a B-side, but it's been on a few things. I think they re-recorded it for the album 13, if I believe. The one I'm referencing is the OG one they did early 90s, and it's just brutal, and that still has Marty Friedman on it, and that song just goes. Like, tying into that news story, like, it definitely was just, I don't know where that riff came from or any, like, the composition, just straight up Megadeth, and Dave Mustaine on 110%, and Marty and Nick and David. So, good song. Great song.
Yeah. And that originally, was that on a Duke Nukem soundtrack? Or was that...
Yeah, one of them, I think, I swear, because I remember I had that soundtrack. at some points. I think that was on there and the Duke Nukem theme. But yeah, I don't know what. I guess it was in a time where it wouldn't have fit on any of the records that was coming out. Because I think there was like Euthanasia days. So I guess I can see how that one wouldn't fit. But
Yeah,
man.
and that was, I just remember there was definitely some standout tracks on that record and it was kind of a cool combination of a couple, like there was.
Oh, you're talking the
Slayer.
Duke Nukem record?
Yeah, there was
Oh,
like
yeah.
COC, Slayer, Megadeth, Typo Negative, and
Yeah, that had "Screaming from the Sky" by Slayer, which was on their
Duke.
what's the
Nukem.
album? Yeah,
Music to score by.
that was the first Slayer song that I legit liked. Was "Screaming from the Sky," which is like, I don't know if it's even ever a single from that record. I'll take a guess. I don't want to offend the Slayer fans, but take a guess at what that record is. I thought was. It's gonna bug me now. Hold on. I'm gonna use the power of technology. I'm cheating. Don't tell anyone. Let's see here. It's gonna bug me if I don't look it up. Diabolus in Musica. I was right. I should have just guessed and acted confident.
Bitchin'.
But yeah,
Blow it out your ass.
I'll pay for busting up my ride. Yeah. I never played the game. Just kidding.
Yeah, we actually played one of those songs, the Duke Nukem theme together, and what was that? That was the Austin Classic Video Game Music Festival.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Eric and I played that track, and I actually showed that video to David Ellefson, and he had a funny reaction. I think he hadn't thought about that song in a long time, so.
Yeah, that's probably the right reaction.
But it's an awesome track. Can't.
No, it
complain about
is. It is, and we did a good job. But I can see if you hadn't thought about that in a while, and you were like, "Oh, check this out,
Duke Nukem."
Duke."
Yeah. I have one of my next track is by the original guitar player from Manowar, Ross the Boss, and this is his group he's been taking around the world the last couple years. By Blood Sworn is a track from their awesome new record, and so they're playing tracks from these last couple records and from the Manowar catalog, and Ross is still plugging in the Les Paul right into the Marshall and cranking it on 10.
Awesome. I'll have to check that out. Let's see. This band called Crazy Licks, and the single's called Wicked. They have a new record coming out soon. I got into these guys last year, but they have a new record coming out. I guess I describe them as it's 80s metal, but I mean it's definitely light and fun. But I feel like they actually enjoy the music. Like it's not a parody, but it's definitely like more in the Def Leppard, Dokken world. But super catchy. I listen to it. It's one of those songs, when you really hear a new song you like, and you listen to it, just keep hitting repeat. It's one of those. So
Yeah,
definitely worth checking out.
yeah. That they are one that have stood out to me, and also the band Striker kind of fit that bill too, where it's like some of the stronger stuff from a Dokken and those sort of groups, and like heavier Whitesnake, and then combine that with dudes that know how to play and put on a show, and that also you can tell they like the heavier spectrum as well.
Yeah, and I saw them too, and yeah, it's a weird genre that's forming, because I feel like there was a resurgence in the 2000s where there was a lot of bands that were doing the hair thing, but it was tongue in cheek, and it was kind of a parody. It was kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, whereas Crazy Licks and Striker, when I saw them, they're having fun, they're smiling and stuff, but I don't think they're doing it to be. I don't think there's any humor to it. I don't think it's a parody. I think they have both feet in. This is us, and we're having fun doing it. So it's fun to see.
Hell yeah. And next up, I have a new one from Queensryche with "Man the Machine," and I think if you were into the first kind of 20 years of Queensryche, I think you will really dig this. Their vocalist for the last record and now this one, Todd Latour, is just really really killing it, and this is a really fearsome track, "Man the Machine," and just that rhythm section of Queensryche. It actually, the Todd Latour, I think, wound up doing the drum writing on this record, but he managed to keep that kind of classic feel that from Queensryche.
That's awesome. I love Queensryche, so I'm always excited for more stuff. Let's see. My last new one is Amon Amarth and their new single Raven's Flight. I dig it. I think it's a pretty solid first song. I think like the production and the band sounds great, and I've slowly over time become a more Amon Amarth fan, and the singer's been doing like interviews recently, guessing to promote this, and he still looks like a terrifying Viking. So I'm sure the record from this track, I'm sure the record's gonna have a lot of fun stuff on it. So I'm excited to actually sit down with it when the whole thing's all done.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a lot of history with Amon Amarth, and it started out another thing that is not so much a thing anymore, but
Bygone era.
before you could easily hear a song that was on a record, I would go to the record store and just kind of guess based off the album cover if it was going to be something worth spending money on. And "One Cent from the Golden Hall" is one I vividly remember, just seeing the cover and then the what the guys looked like on the back, a band of Vikings, and it didn't disappoint. I remember right around that time, some other ones that wound up winning out, where I think that's how I got into Sabotage and Halloween, and then also In Flames Clayman. That was definitely just, it seemed like something that was going to be pretty special off the album cover, and did not disappoint.
Yeah. I was telling my girlfriend recently, actually, that you and I, when we were really getting into this stuff, we didn't have the older brothers that were like, check this out. Like, it was a lot of, and we had some key people show us some key stuff at great times, teachers and friends and stuff. But after that, you and I really just had to like go to read all the magazines and the books and just do all the digging, and definitely that reminds me of that time period, those formative years when we were just like basically archaeologists, especially in the early 2000s when everyone was listening to Cold Chamber and Limp Bizkit and Korn.
Yeah, and that was like that was the 90s and early 2000s version of like the tape trading of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, so we were digging in like metal archaeologists, if you will. So good times.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, did you have another song on your list? Because I lost count.
No, that is this week's Heavy Radio number 2's tracks. And we'll be coming back at you with the next set of tracks and any updates that come to pass for Heavy Radio 3.
Yeah, and make sure to check us out on social media. And we'll have our playlist with all these tracks on our YouTube list, and the Spotify list will be up shortly. But whatever's easier for you guys, go check it out. And we'll definitely be announcing anything on social media if we got it. But Marco, it's great to talk to you again, and love doing the show.
Yeah, keeping it Heavy Radio.
Yeah.